I'm Huon Hooke, and this is The Real Review. Okay, I'm about to taste the 2018 Swinney Farvie Syrah from the Franklin River region of Western Australia. Here it is. It's their top label. They do quite a number of levels now. This is their $150 wine, so it's the top of the totem. It's named Farvie because that's a nickname of the great-grandfather of the present people who run the place. And you might notice that it's labelled Syrah, not Shiraz, but it is in fact the same grape variety, Shiraz. Syrah is often used as a word to describe a cool climate Shiraz. This is the word that the French use when they're talking about the same variety that we call Shiraz. So there's a bit of a fashion now to use that word for cooler climate styles of Shiraz. So this one is a new release. This is probably a company that very few people have heard of around on the east coast, at least, of Australia. Western Australian company, family company, newly revitalised by the current generation of this Swinney family. I was most impressed by their wines when I tasted them last year. Let's try the 2018 Farvie. When you first pour it, it's got quite a meaty, reductive character, which is a smokiness that the aroma has, but it breathes off quite quickly and reveals the spiciness of the cool climate Shiraz fruit. And it's got some of the earthy graphite, sort of charry characters, or charred wood characters that Shiraz can get sometimes. A stony kind of mineral character as well. Really quite lovely. Spices, yes, it's got pepper and cloves and all those sorts of things. The wine is pretty powerful. It's quite concentrated, but it's not really a big wine. It's not a big boned wine. It's very fine. The tannins are very fine and very silky, and it has great length of palate. So a concentrated flavour in a wine doesn't necessarily mean it's big or heavy. So this has got that great combination of elegance and power. We rated this wine 98 points, and it gets a top rank rating, which means it was in the top echelon of its category, which is Great Southern Region Shiraz of 2018 vintage. In fact, it was rated number 1 out of the 25 wines that we've tasted in that category. We would say drink it from now until 2043 roughly, but that's just a vague idea. It's a sort of ballpark idea. But this wine will last for a long time. There's no track record for this wine, so we're really guessing. But I would say, knowing the great Shirazes from this region, 20, 30 years is not a problem for them. So the winery recommends that we serve this wine with crispy skinned duck breast with duck fat, roasted potatoes and green beans. Sounds terrific to me. I think people often think that powerful red meat flavours are the best thing with a Shiraz like this, but in fact duck is very, very good with this more elegant style of Shiraz. Beautiful wine indeed. I love the range of spice aromas in this wine. It's very complex indeed, and I can imagine that in a few more years it's going to be even more complex. Now the interesting fact, I guess, about this wine are that they put together recently a team of really good advisors. There's Peter Dawson, who used to work for Hardy's and Hortons for many years. Robert Mann is the winemaker, and he used to also work for Hortons and Hardy's, and Kate Mentell was his previous job in Australia before he went off to California for a few years. Rob Mann is descended from the famous Jack Mann, who was probably the most famous winemaker in the Swan Valley, who had 50 odd vintages in the Swan Valley. Quite a man. So I think the Swinneys are onto something really good here. They obviously made a decision to get really serious about their wine production. They are identifying single plots of vines within their vineyard and keeping the fruit off those plots of vines separate to make these special wines. They do a Syrah and a Grenache and a GSM, which is a Grenache Syrah Mourvèdre blend. That's on the basic level, and then on this level there's a Farvie and the Farvie Syrah and the Farvie Grenache, and they're both fantastic wines.